All right. So you're thinking about starting some sort of home business, right? At the time of this recording, we're in the middle of COVID-19 here in the United States and all over the world. And conditions are such that a lot of us, Google Trends data shows more than 1,000-fold increase in people looking for kind of the work from home options. I like my lighting. Let's go for a walk. I think I can find better lighting. I think this will be more fun. Um, so I want to talk about what questions I would ask, what questions I would recommend asking. I've been a work from home guy for about 20 years, and I have a good feel for what makes sense, what doesn't. I also have strong opinions on questions. What kind of questions should you be asking? Before we can know what kind of questions you should be asking, we need to back up and consider what kind of outcome you want to create. What I have for you here is just a logical sequence, like a thought process that I'd recommend you consider. This will just take a couple minutes. It's pretty straightforward. So, what outcome do you want? Let's start there. Maybe another way to ask that question would be, what problem are you looking to solve? I'll tell you my problem. My problem is my bills come every month. My bills are big. My bills are relentless. They will never stop. So a problem of that caliber, let's see, let's recount this. This is bills that come monthly, relentlessly till I die. Right? That's my problem. So that's a pretty high caliber, relentless problem. What kind of solution would be the most ideal solution for my unique problem? Or wait, it's not really that unique, is it? You have the same problem. What kind of a solution would be most ideal? My thinking is, I don't know, two things come to mind. One is win the lottery. That'd be nice. I don't buy tickets, so I can't win. Hope is not a course of action. Thanks to my friend Devin for putting that line in my head. It's so true. Hope is not a course of action. So, nope, I rule that out. What does that leave me with? I don't know. There's just probably a few things we could talk about here, but to be efficient and expedient here, where this took me in my thought process a few years ago was, what if I could build an asset that produces cash flow monthly, relentlessly, permanently, or as close as we can reasonably figure? What if we could create that? I used to be a plumber. If you followed much content on this channel, I'm a regular guy. I have some opinions on home business stuff because it's kind of been my pursuit, my path for a long time, since I got hurt on the job. So we don't know what questions to ask until we know what problem we're looking to solve. I think you're probably looking to solve the same problem I'm looking to solve. My bills are relentless, they're monthly, they're permanent. If I can create an asset that naturally produces a result, an opposing result of similar caliber, relentless monthly cash flow, ideally it's residual. In other words, I don't have to keep working. I'd like to be able to work once and get paid lots of times for the most ideal daily quality of life, and to put me in a position where I can serve others, help others, make an impact in my family, be a good dad, be a great husband, whatever those variables are for you. I think we both have the same problem. I think we both want the same type of a solution. So can we start there? That frames like that. If you're with me on this, it impacts a lot of stuff. We now need to be very discriminating when we're considering opportunities. Give you some easy examples. There are a lot of work from home kind of companies, network marketing, MLM kind of things out there. Um, I'm not inclined to like bash and judge. Nobody made me judge. Just some observations. There's a lot of stuff out there that's the here today, gone tomorrow kind of a flavor. Again, not a moral judgment, not any kind of judgment. It's just an observation. Um, if the things you're looking at don't appear to be relevant and reasonable for the people around you in your life that are on tight budgets, maybe the people around you in your life that are unemployed right now, if what you're considering doing isn't relevant to the masses permanently, like every month, permanently, then it's not reasonable, it's not logical to imagine that you can work real hard for a few years and cash checks every month for the rest of your life, right off into the sunset, cashing checks, right? To create that sort of outcome, the sort of asset we have to create is the sort of asset that is driven by consumers, regular people, probably the masses. That's what I'd recommend. It'd be the easiest way to do it. It'd be driven by consumer behavior, consumer spending that is relentless in its nature, inherently, normally, like the default position is relentless, never stops. So my in this vein of network marketing, MLM kind of stuff, I think of people close to me in my life, family members who are on fixed incomes. I think of them, and I think, could I take X, whatever this MLM thing is that I'm looking at, could I take this to my close family member who is on a fixed income confidently? Could I do that? Would it reasonably have a chance to stick every month for the rest of this person's life? In other words, would they buy? Would they consume comfortably without messing up their budget? Those are kind of givens, right? Because if I interrupt my friend or my family member's budget, if I mess that up, they can't, in a lot of cases, they can't comfortably consume whatever that is for the rest of their lives. And the second you start having that kind of in the mix, you can't have residual, you can't have sustainable, predictable, monthly, long-term income. You just won't have it. People will have a tendency to go, you know what, I really got to pay my cell phone bill, and I got to pay the registration on my car, and I got to pay this and that and the other thing. And as much as I like your stuff, your, whatever the product or whatever it is that I've been getting, I can't. I have to pay my bills. So something to be aware of that I'm assuming you're aware of. Let me point this out really specifically. In MLM, in network marketing, better than 95%, it might be fair to say 97, 98%, but certainly very fair to say at least 95%, they fail to make money. They fail to profit, I should say. They might make a little money, but they're not profiting. So what does this mean? What this means is the few percent who are profiting, why would they quit? Why would they leave? They're making money. They're probably going to be here a long time, as long as the company is around or whatever. What about the rest? What about the 95 percenters? Is your income more dependent on the 5 percenters or the 95 percenters? Right? So follow me on this here. So these are maybe some wannabe entrepreneurs that are trying and working, but they're failing. They're not making money. Maybe a bunch of them just, they're like, looks interesting, I'll sign up. The question is, are the masses, the 95 percenters, likely to stick and consume, spend money month after month, year after year, till they die? And it might seem like an unreasonable ask, but if your plan, if your expectation, if your hope, if the outcome you're after is one of relentless monthly permanent income, the only way that happens is if the majority are consuming happily for the rest of their lives every month, give or take. You follow me? So most MLMs, matter of fact, every MLM I've ever seen, every single one, has enough downsides and enough, if you look at reality, they tend to be very short-lived. So I might hook my family member on the latest, greatest product or service. In the service field, competition increases and changes all the time. So is that company really going to be here 2 years, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? If they're not, then we have to cross them off the list because it doesn't take us where we want to go. There's too many question marks. We're crossing our fingers. We're speculating too much, right? How about the types of business models where it's the latest, greatest product? Usually the pricing is pretty high, maybe warranted. Maybe it's the best product on the planet in that category, and it's totally worth spending all that money on. Okay, let's say that it is. Well, the masses aren't going to do that, right? Think about a close family member, a close relative or friend of yours who is on a really tight budget. Could you talk them into buying fill in the blank, whatever that is, every month for the rest of their life? And you have to assume they're not going to profit from this endeavor. They're going to consume. They appear, the majority in any sort of MLM pursuit, about 95%, they're consuming. If they're anything, they're consumers. It's just how it is. And it's okay. It's just an observation. I'm not judging. If anything, they're consumers. So the question starts to become, how long can I expect these consumers to stick around? Could they comfortably be a buyer every month for the rest of their life or not? It's pretty black and white. If you want the sort of outcome we framed a few minutes ago, you got to be really discriminating now, because the flavor of the month, the flavor of the year, the flavor of the next 5 years MLM does not cut it. My opinion is this rules out all of the newer companies that are attempting and succeeding in many cases to capitalize on short-term trends. Health and wellness is a big one. There's all kinds of newfangled, category creator type things out there. Easy to get very emotional about these sorts of things. Easy to get very excited about these sorts of things. They appear in many cases to be life-changing, and maybe they are. Great, awesome. I hope they are. We still have to think back to this question, though. What outcome do I want? And that informs what questions we need to ask and how discriminating we need to be. If the outcome you want is to make $1,000, you don't need to be discriminating at all. You can make $1,000 at a million different ways. Just, blindfold yourself and spin around in whatever MLM you're pointing at. You can go make $1,000 there, no problem. It's going to be work, but no problem. If you're not looking for repeating income, then your choices are many. If you want stable, predictable monthly cash flow, completely, night and day, different set of questions we need to ask. So we know that most are going to behave, almost everybody's going to be a consumer if they're anything. So the real bottom line way to look at it, I think, is, are the masses likely? Is it reasonable? Would a thinking person, would an outsider who isn't drinking the juice, they aren't guzzling the Kool-Aid, maybe a nicer way to put this would be, could you somehow push emotion out of the room for a minute and make a business decision? This is the rest of your life we're talking about. This is time we're talking about. You're investing time and maybe some money. I don't recommend you invest money personally, but a lot of MLMs would have you invest money. I don't like it at all. I could do a separate video about why I don't like it. There's some really specific reasons why it's terrible. It doesn't bode well for that organization's future if the masses, if part of that decision-making process is, I got to pony up some cash, I got to invest. Yeah, you don't want to go there, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. My thoughts on that. I can do another video. You getting what I'm talking about here? Does this make sense? I want stability. I want simplicity. I want to be done pivoting. Pivot is a funny word. And again, probably I should do a different video, but a lot of my home business friends pivot and pivot and pivot. And it's just a nice way of saying, oh, that didn't work. What's next? Oh, that didn't work. What's next? Year after year after year. I did it. I did it for years. It's miserable. It does not get you where you want to go. So you may be in a really tough spot. I hope you're not. I hope you're not. But a lot of people who show up on content like this, their back's in a corner, they're tight on funds, they're low on time, desperate for hope and change, usually lasting hope and change. If that's you, I'd love to talk with you. I'm less interested in pitching you. I'm more interested in talking a little bit of shop, having a business conversation, eyes wide open, emotion out of the room. Don't go join a cult. A lot of I probably shouldn't go there. Eyes wide open, critical thinking skills intact, skepticism intact, healthy skepticism. I think we could come to an interesting outcome, you and I. And I'd love to talk with you. Throw me a comment on the video. I put my website address in the video here also, or in the description. I have a form there. No autoresponders or anything like that anymore. I'm largely offline. Every once in a while I'll shoot a video and kind of air my thoughts out. I don't do any internet marketing anymore. It's not simple. Internet marketing isn't simple, so I don't do it. And for most people, I wouldn't recommend you even remotely start to think about that stuff. There are simpler ways. There are better ways. There are longer lasting ways. So anyway, I'd love to talk with you. I have an abundance of time because of the way I've arranged my life and business, and I would be happy to speak with you. So if you're interested in talking a little shop, maybe looking at some numbers, looking at some history. I love historical data. If somebody's going to pitch me on long-term residual income, let's see the data. Let's see the historical data. I'm not interested in talking, really. I'm interested in looking. So if that sounds like you, we should talk. Maybe meet up on Zoom, some kind of video thing, so I can screen share and show you a bunch of data, show you why I do what I do and how I arrived at that kind of at that decision and what the outcome looks like. Sounds interesting. Hit the site or give me a comment or something like that. You know what to do. Hope this was useful for you. Take care.